Today we're going to learn how to describe the likelihood of an event occurring. Let's start with our vocabulary. Our first vocabulary word is probability. The probability of an event measures the likelihood that the event will occur. And then the other thing that you need to make note of is probability is between 0 and 1, and it can also include 0 and 1. A lot of times when we do probability in between 0 and 1, anything between 0 and 1, including 0 and 1. It will also be given a lot of times in percent, and occasionally when we work on probability we'll work it as a fraction, but then we almost always convert it to a percent because non-mathematicians understand percentages better than fractions. So let's go ahead and look at kind of the likelihood of an event occurring, the terms that go with that. So when we have a 0 probability or 0%, we say that that is impossible. So if it's 0%, it's not going to occur. It's impossible. If it's 1 or 100%, then we say that the likelihood of that event occurring is certain. So if you have a 100% chance of thunderstorms, then it is most certainly going to rain. Then halfway as a fraction would be 1/2. As a decimal would be 0.5. And then as a percentage, it would be 50%. And we say that is equally likely to happen as not. And I may not be able to fit all of this on here. Equally likely to happen as not. Alright, then I'm going to change colors just to make it a little bit easier to find. Then 1/4 or 0.25 or 25% chance, we say that's unlikely. And then 3/4, which is 0.75 or 75%, we say that is likely. So an event can be impossible, it can be unlikely, it can be equally likely to happen as not, it can be likely, or it can be certain. How do you find the probability of an event? Well, when all possible outcomes are equally likely, the probability is the ratio of favorable outcomes to number of possible outcomes. Okay, so I have written the definition. Probability is the ratio of favorable outcomes to number of possible outcomes. So the definition is great, but let's look at that as a kind of an algorithm or a formula. So the probability of an event, and that's how we write it, probability of an event is the ratio, so it looks like a fraction, number of favorable outcomes to number of possible outcomes. So that's what it looks like, and then when you know the number of favorable outcomes and the number of possible outcomes, then you can divide them and convert that to a percent. So let's look at our first example. Example 1 says, describe the likelihood of an event. There is an 80% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Describe the likelihood of the event. Well, 80. So if I look at that little number line type thing that I just drew, 80%. So here's my thought process. 80% is pretty close to 75%. So how I describe that is likely. It's likely going to rain tomorrow if we have an 80% chance of thunderstorms. The description is likely. All right, so then pause the video and do the on your own, and then come back and check your answers. All right, so the probability that land a jump on a snowboard is 1/2. 1/2 is 50%. So the description is equally likely to happen as not. All right, then let's look at the last one. There is a 100% chance that the temperature will be less than 100 degrees tomorrow. 100% is certain. So that's how you describe the likelihood of an event. All right, let's look at example 2. Example 2 says that you roll a number cube. What is the probability of rolling an odd number? All right, so the probability of an event happening is a ratio, number of favorable outcomes to the number of possible, so that's my generic formula. So let's look at it in relation to this problem. So I want to know the probability of rolling an odd number. My odd numbers are, on a number cube, would be 1, 3, and 5. So I have the number of favorable outcomes are 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the total number of possible rolls is 6, because I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 3 out of 6 is the same thing as 50%. So that's the probability, and it is equally likely to happen as not, if I wanted to describe it. And I'm going to abbreviate that. All right, example 3 says the probability that you randomly draw a short straw from a group of 40 straws is 3 out of 20. How many of the straws are short straws? Okay, so I want to know the probability. Actually, I don't want to know that. I want to know how many short straws there are. So the probability of short equals favorable over possible. Notice how I'm starting to abbreviate. So the probability is this right here. So for probability, I'm going to do 3 out of 20. That's my probability. How many short straws? So that's my favorable, but I don't know that. So when I don't know something, it's a variable. And then my total number of straws in the group are 40. So this should look like something that we already have done before. I'm going to cross the equal sign and multiply. Cross the equal sign and multiply. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 20 so I can get x by itself. 120 divided by 20 is 6. So that means there are 6 short straws in that group. So notice how I used the probability and worked backwards to find how many straws were in a group. All right, you have a couple of on your own problems to do. Go ahead and work those, and then you can check your answers with mine. Okay, so on your own, in example 2, we're rolling the number cube. It says, what is the probability of rolling a number greater than 2? So I'm trying to find the probability of rolling greater than 2. So greater than 2 would be 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So I have 4 favorable outcomes out of 6 total. When I do that on a calculator, that actually simplifies to 2 out of 3. So I have a 66.6 repeating % chance of rolling a number greater than 2. So that's getting close to likely. My chances are likely that I'm going to do that. All right, then in example 2, that's the number cube again. What is the probability of rolling a 7? Well, my number cube only goes to 6, so that means I cannot roll a 7. 0 out of 6, that's a 0%. That's impossible. I am not going to do that. There's no way for that to occur. Okay, then the last one says the probability that you randomly draw a short straw from a group of 75 straws is 1 out of 15. How many short straws are there? So probability of a short straw equals short out of total. My probability is 1 out of 15. Short straws is what I'm trying to find. There's 75 total. I'm going to cross the equal sign and multiply. Cross the equal sign and multiply. Divide both sides by 15. 75 divided by 15 is 5. There are 5 short straws. Alright, so that is our lesson for today. If you are confused or if something does not make sense, please come see me and I will help you in the morning.